Hello everyone, Dave here from Charest Studios, and today I wanted to show you some of my wire jigs for making things with wire, like this this little heart right here. I'm gonna make one of these. I'm gonna show you how to make these, how I made the jig, and how I make these. But a lot of stuff. I'll show you the table in a second. You know, some jewelry too. Like this is a bracelet, a cuff that's made out of woven wire that I made a jig for. And I also did one that's a bangle, and that's all woven wire. And it's easy to make a jig for these. But let me give you a look at all those, and then we'll go ahead and we'll make a heart. I'm going to show you this is the jig for the little heart inside the heart, and we'll be using this to make that. I'm going to take the camera out. I'm going to show you guys what I have on the table here. Okay guys, so you can see a bunch of different leaves I have. I have a cactus over there. There's the heart. There's a little bird there. And I'll show you guys basically like this bird. This wasn't made on the typical jigs that I make. This was made on this type of jig. You can see I have a little nail in there where the eye loop goes, and mark there where the hanging loop goes. And there's the jig again for the heart we're going to do. Here's a jig for my leaves, my wire leaves. I have two different size maple leaves, and a birch leaf, and an oak leaf. And basically these are just, you know, I draw out the pattern, I put in the nails where I need them to get the shape, and then I'm just run the wire around it and find a way to close it up. These I put on a garland, but I sell them just singly too, or as a set that people can hang for themselves, but I just put a few together, and I just happen to have this garland handy, so figured I'd show you guys that way. And yeah, so you can make a jig for just about any shape. And like this cuff here, this woven cuff, was just made on a straight line of nails here that you see pounded in. And I just wove a series of wire strand, one continuous length over that, and then slid it off and bent it into shape, and there you have it. Now the bangle is much the same way. I don't really remember. This one was made on a bigger jig. I have more jigs but so you have several size bangles, right? So you need different size jigs. But yeah, I don't even remember how I did this up. But same thing, you just weave in and out of it, weave in and out of it until you get the amount of rows that you want. But the tricky part is the beginning and the end. But if you guys, if there's a lot of interest in how to do this kind of stuff, and you guys leave some comments down there and ask me, I'll do a video on that for you. Here's a cactus, which I don't even remember where the jig is. And sometimes also, and you don't even need a jig, like I make some stars. I can't find one around here, but anyway, I make some stars just by drawing, just by having a star pattern drawn out that I want on a piece of paper, and then I can just follow that and bend it, and you know, just keep my wire right on top of the piece of paper as I bend it until I get the shape I want. And I don't even really need the nails for something simple like that. The cactus, I think, was one of those things that I just drew it out on cardboard, and then I just would bend my wire to it. And I think later I made one with nails just because it's quicker and there's less you know, room for making them different. So and you can get even more elaborate than this. I'll show you guys a little bit other ones too. And that, I made a jig for that. And oh, I saw the stars over here. Let me see if I could show you the stars. There you see. There's a wire frame that I made. And I made a jig for that. Here are the stars that I was telling you guys about that I just... Sorry about the lighting. It's hard for me to show you guys. Well, these stars, you know, I would just buy a shape that's printed on a piece of paper or drawn on a piece of paper. You could make a lot of things just that way without even having a pattern. Let me show you how we do this. We're going to make the heart, the little heart inside the big heart, and make it a little ornament. And I like to hammer them with I put them on the anvil and hammer them, but it's not necessary. Just a more of a rustic look. But anyway, let's go ahead and make one. I hope I got the right length wire because I don't remember. Usually what it's a good idea is to write the length of wire that you need to make the piece on the back of the jig. That way, if you don't make one for a long time, you'll remember, you know, you'll know what size piece of wire. So I cut 22-inch piece of wire, and let's give it a try, see if it's long enough. Okay, so I've got my jig now, and what I've got is this piece of wire, and I'm going to bend it so that I find the center by bringing the two ends together. And then I just bring my finger down to the middle here. And I'm going to squeeze that because I want to make a little loop. There's going to be a little loop right in the middle of that small heart. Why? That's just because that's the way I designed it. So that little loop fits on that center nail. Then we go around the small heart. Now you want the wire close to you to be on top because you're going to twist this clockwise. I'm going to move the tripod with me here. So I've got the wire closest to me on the top, and I want to bring that right in so that it's close right up to the tip of the heart, and then I'm going to give it 3 twists. And then just pull it right off. And there's the little heart. And then we gotta bring this around now. So we got the big heart. Get you guys back a little bit. So now we got the big heart. And we're gonna do this. Let's see, how did I do this? I believe I just did it like this. So we want to bring that wire up there, like that. Now we're going to do this side the same way. And it's got to go around. And it's got to go inside here. So now you've got them both there. And you want to keep this, when you bring this off of here, you want to keep those wires where they were. And you do the same thing. You do 3 twists up here. And then you have the basics of it. Now I'm going to twist this a little bit tighter, and then we'll cut that off. And then it's basically, we're going to do some shaping. So I want that twist to be a little tighter so that this doesn't come apart on us later. So I'm going to bend these out, and then I'm just going to take my pliers and give that one more twist around. And now we can cut this off. And then we can kind of mess with the shape a little bit. You can cut that off there. I think I'm going to cut this off a little bit shorter, guys. I think I'll cut this off like right up in here, because I'm going to file that off now. So I just take a file and file those ends down. Now I have a customer who asked me for one of these, and I hadn't, the jig was way in the back of the shop. I hadn't made one in a while. So I made one, but it wasn't quite as rustic as what she had wanted, so I'm going to try to do it a little bit more rustic. And she wanted this heart a little bit more round shape, so I'm going to pull this out with my finger so we get that more of a rounded shape. And then I want this part maybe a little bit more pointy down here, so I'm going to bend these up a little bit. And that looks a little bit more like it. And now we're going to just play with the shape of the larger one. And you want to make sure this is flat too, but I'm going to hammer mine, and you don't have to hammer it. That's up to you guys. I don't know, I'm not crazy about the big heart. I like the little heart. It came out nice. The big heart looks a little uneven, so you just have to kind of play with it a little bit, guys, until you get it how you like it. I think if you want a little bit more, there you go. I think a little bit more rounded on the upper part of the heart. So I think I got that better now. But I think I'm going to cut back this a little bit more, because I don't like it that close to that small heart. And then so I may just give this a little bit more of a twist. And now I'll have to file that again. So there, now I'm going to bring it over to the anvil. I'm going to bring the anvil over here, and you could see the way it is now, but I think it looks much nicer when it's hammered flat. It'll give it some texture, and it will give it more of a rustic look. Well, you have to be careful where it's twisted or where the wire is doubled. If you hit it too hard, it could break the wire. Okay guys, so hit that twisted area first, and then I'm going to go to the other part. And you can hammer this so that it's quite a bit wider and flatter than it was when it was round. And don't worry about it curling or anything right now at this point. As you can see, it's doing that. Doing that a little bit. So now, as far as it being curved and stuff, you can bring it over to this side. And when you do this side, it should flatten out pretty nice. Now I think that's pretty good. I want to make this a little bit more tight down here. And that's looking pretty good right now. I like that. So, but my customer wanted it to look a little bit more distressed, a little bit more even than that. So I'm going to go get some sandpaper and hit that with some sandpaper and see what it looks like after that. So you can use sandpaper, you can use a wire brush, and if you don't have any of that, you could just rub it on the cement floor to change the look of it. I'm going to use the sandpaper. Wire brush, I don't think it'll do it enough. Yeah, I think that's the kind of look she wants there. I don't know if you guys can see, but to see the difference. Better focus. So there we are, guys. So you can see the big difference in it from when it was just a black, black piece of wire to once I hammered it and then I hit it with the sandpaper. Now this will rust if you're in a humid environment. If you're in a humid environment or it gets wet, it will rust. What I do is I treat them with oil, basically vegetable spray, cooking spray, sprayed on a rag, and then I wipe it, and then I wipe it on and then wipe it off. And you can do that depending on how humid it is where you live and so forth, you could do that. You could clear coat it, or you can just leave it to naturally patina. In the house, even in New England here, it will not rust for many years, and it will kind of just develop a little light rust basically, unless it's in a really humid place. But it will stay like this if you're in a dry environment, or if you keep it, you oil it and then and dry it off a few times, a couple times a year or so. And that goes with any of my baskets or wire work. Basically, I recommend the oil to preserve them and keep them from rusting. But I'm going to go ahead and put a little jute hanger on that now, and it'll be just about ready. So I was going to do jute, guys, but I had some hemp, and it's much thinner, and I don't know, I think it might look better. I'll try it. You can always change it. So I just go around that little top part like that. Just goes in and out, and then I kind of just going to tie a square knot there. Get that in the middle, tie a square knot. Once and twice, and then we'll pull those, and I'll put a little tie on there. So then I'm just taking the two ends, and I'm just going to tie them together in a loop like this and make a little knot, and that'll give us our little hanger. And there we go. So there it is, guys, all finished and ready to hang. We can just open up this thing a little bit. There we are. So I think that came out pretty good. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. And if you saw anything that was interesting to you, or you wanted to purchase anything, you can check out my Etsy shop. I'll put a link below in the description. And until next time, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.